Hello there, I'm Lou Wieland, and for the last 30 years I've published the official relocation guides on Atlanta that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. The First Multiple Listing Service is the third largest multiple listing service in the United States. It's growing by leaps and bounds. In fact, there are now 400,000 agents that use First Multiple Listing Service, for 400,000 agents. And the reason for that huge increase from 65,000 just in the last year is because of the expansion in expanded area of coverage, including Alabama, Colorado, Tennessee, Florida, and parts of and Chicago is scheduled to come online later this year. So you have 400,000 agents. We're looking on the First Multiple Listing Service website for listings. And just recently, the Multiple Listing Service announced that anytime you have a listing on the First Multiple Listing Service for a commercial listing, it automatically gets listed in Crexie. So if you're a commercial agent out there, you might want to check that out because you can save a lot of money by having your listings on the First Multiple Listing Service website. The magazines are also on that website. They are for Atlanta, Gwinnett, Cobb, and North Fulton. And they are chock full of information about Atlanta. They have profiling of all the counties and the communities. I'm also a realtor with KW Commercial. If I can help you with any of your real estate needs, or if you have any questions about real estate, my email is lou@louwieland.com. And just to give you a little feel for what's going on in the metro area for residential, the median price of homes sold in June was $408,000, which represents a 3.3% increase in value. So that being said, lots of new things are happening where everybody's staying glued to interest rates, and we're understanding that there will be a reduction in interest rates, and we're all looking forward to that happening later this year. So every week we interview community leaders, and we're happy to welcome back Paul Radford, who is the city manager for the great city of Sugar Hill. Welcome back to the show, Paul. Nice to see you.
Well, thanks, Lou, and good to see you as well.
Congratulations. You were just elected into the Georgia Municipal Association Hall of Fame. And what a great honor, and very warranted with your 50 years of service and to community development and redevelopment. So we appreciate your service to the community, Paul.
Well, thank you very much.
And one of the things, too, that I noticed in preparing for the show is that there's been a tremendous increase in the value of residential real estate property values in Sugar Hill just over the last year alone. The median price of homes sold, this is different from homes that are just valued there. These are homes sold as $520,000 in June. And that represents a year-over-year increase of 28.4%, which is probably the highest of any city in FMLS, the highest year-over-year percentage increase. And the reason for that is very interesting, and if you drive by Highway 20, you can probably figure it out and see the city growing and all the phenomenal things. But let me just introduce the city by saying, first of all, that the population is, 25,000 and growing steadily. So, Paul, let's start with that. I mean, there's so many things to talk about there. accounts for that huge increase in property values that are, we can, Highway 20, if you drive by Highway 20, you can see it. But maybe it would be helpful if you would just explain, as a city manager, what's actually happening with all that development that we can easily see there.
Well, number one, Lou, I think we were one of the last areas of Gwinnett County to actually start to be developed. When I came here in 2013, in our downtown was a city hall that just opened up and nothing else. And so we've been very intentional on building a downtown that has density, in a downtown that can be a destination. So I think our downtown is one of the driving factors. Number two, obviously Highway 20, which is an east-west, the only direct east-west to Georgia 400 from in between 85 and 400. So it is we now get 50,000 vehicle trips a day coming past here. Number three, we have great school systems with North Gwinnett High School cluster and the Lanier cluster, and something that in your business, it's supply and demand. We hadn't had a lot of new inventory added to our stock over the last 10 years for single family detached, and that has made the demand for our housing. I think that has helped trigger the rise in prices. But we're just a desirable place to live, a desirable place to work, and a desirable place to play. And I think the first place that actually starts being reflected is in home sale prices.
Okay, well, I wondered if you would describe some of the developments in the bowl there and the so many things to talk about, the Greenway, the Sugar Hill Greenway plan and so forth, but the most obvious is the bowl there. What's going on in that development? It seems every time I drive by there, there's a new structure going up. Tell us about the different venues there.
Well, the city has invested in itself first to be able to show the private sector that it's a good area to invest. We invested starting in 2016 with groundbreaking of our E-Center. And people said, what does E stand for? And I said, well, everything. It's entertaining, it's eating, it's engaging, it's exercise. So our E-Center has the Eagle Theater, which is a Art Deco facility that seats about 406 people, and it's booked 300 days of the year. We have our recreation staff on the other end of our complex that has an indoor gym that now has 28,000 members. And we know that because they have to get their picture taken and have a card and all that stuff. And then sandwiched in between that is about 40,000 square feet of commercial space that the city and our Downtown Development Authority own and serve as the landlord. And so that facility itself has helped generate private sector interest and investment in our downtown. You mentioned the Bowl. The Bowl is our outdoor concert venue, seats about 1,600 people. We program that for our own purposes for concerts in our concert series every year. But it's also used many times by other groups for various functions. And we have added a venue at the end of the bowl now called The Landing, which serves as our farmers market on Tuesdays of every week. And it's also used for other purposes for load in and load out of our concerts. So when we started building this stuff, our purpose was to become a destination, not just a city like anybody other cities. Swanee does a great job. Duluth does a great job. Lawrenceville does a fabulous job. we don't want to be like any of them. They're all great. We want to be like Sugar Hill. And so we've invested in something that we think is sustainable and you want to be here. We want to get people to come for 3 hours. We want them to come for a day. And eventually we want them to come for 3 days. But you can't come for 3 days until we get a hotel in our downtown. And so all those things have generated $750 million of private sector investment since 2016. We have 1,800 apartments, luxury apartments that are within a 7-minute walk of our downtown. Two of them are completely open and leased out. The third one is just got its final CO recently, and they're like at 70% leased already. And we've got 2 more under construction, or 3 more under construction. And then we've also got townhomes that are under construction, all in our downtown. We've got 26 units of townhomes that are 1 block from City Hall, they're called Skyview on Broad, which is our main street. And those are going for $900,000 a piece, and they're all sold. Nine of them that they finished were all sold. 3 additional ones that the pad hasn't even been poured yet are already sold. So we're real pleased with people who wanted to live downtown with different options. We have people who have downsized that are living in the apartments, people who are downsizing and living in the townhomes. They want to be close to everything where they can walk out their door and go to the theater, go to a concert, go to restaurants, or take their kids or themselves for dinner at nighttime and then get ice cream afterwards. So we've got what you would see as a very traditional downtown that has some architecture that's very attractive, but it's completely different than your normal downtown because it has high density around it.
Well, the whole idea of walking to recreation venues is extremely appealing to all demographic groups, especially people as old as me, who just like to walk to a restaurant or a concert instead of getting in your car and driving. So I can see why the prices have gone up so much. You probably got a lot of empty nesters, but young kids getting out of college. I have a grandson who just got out of college. I mean, these kids are starting out at astronomical salaries. I mean, $80,000 a year, $90,000 a year. Some of the guys from Georgia Tech with degrees are coming out of there at $100,000 a year. So you can see why they might be interested in these high prices that are available. But
your point there, Lou, is that the apartments that we have downtown are apartments with a purpose. They're just not apartments that are scattered throughout a community or scattered throughout the county. These are intentional, and they are apartments with a purpose, and that is to feed our commercial sector, feed the restaurants, feed the entertainment venues we have. And to your point, these are things that people they live in the apartments. The rents are not cheap, but this is where they want to live. And we do have people of all ages living in these various projects that are just wonderful. They look like hotels on the inside, just high-end hotels. And then speaking of people who are baby boomers that want to live down here, we have a bunch of those that want to do that as well. We do have an assisted living and memory care facility that's right down from City Hall, a $56 million investment by the Solomon Group, which is called the Holbrook. They have performed extraordinarily well based upon their pro forma. And we see those people out walking every day to downtown, going to get an ice cream, just out walking their dog, or just out walking to enjoy the view and the sunshine. And it is just that's what's the most satisfying thing to me as the city manager, who's had this unique opportunity to build a downtown, is to see the smiling faces out and about of people of all, of all ethnic groups, all ages. And it's just a satisfying picture that you hear the sounds of the kids playing, you hear the parents enjoying things, and you hear the restaurant owners saying, we just love the fact that we get in so much business. So it's been a journey and a labor of love.
There's no question about it that these points of interest do attract people of all demographic categories. You have the Eagle Theater, you have Art Gallery and History Center, the Veterans Memorial. Tell us a little bit about that and how those venues have served you well.
We do have a park that one of our hotel developers, one of our apartment developers built for the city, right across the street from the Veterans Memorial. Our Veterans Memorial was a small obelisk in a town green from years ago that was built downtown. We sold that property to a apartment developer. But part of the deal was that they would rebuild a park for us and maintain it long term, and they're doing that. And we see all kinds of people using it. Our Veterans Memorial is, I think, just one of the best Veterans Memorials in the country, and it is one of our most Instagram sites that we have downtown. And we do conduct two ceremonies there every year, Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And we are engaged with the American Legion and the Daughters of the American Revolution that are part of the ceremonies. And the community loves it. We view it as another park in our downtown. There's seating where they can just look at the water, and we have an eternal flame there, and then we have a 7-foot eagle that stands on top of a pedestal over water, protecting the community and protecting the veterans. So it's really proud of the Veterans Memorial. And then we do have, as you said, in that same development that was our first apartment complex downtown, which is directly across the street from City Hall. We do have our history museum and our art gallery in that facility.
Sugar Hill Preservation Society, I guess, do you have quite a few members of that? How do you go about getting involved with that?
We announce it it's on our website. The community is really steps forward. We do have a board that is affiliated with the city, and so the Preservation/Historical Society. They are very active in our historic cemetery, which is right downtown. It's a cemetery that used to be part of the Sugar Hill Baptist Church, but the church trustees came to us asking if the city would take over its maintenance and operation. So they gave it to us, gave us a small corpus that they had raised, and we have made investments in it because we view it as a downtown park and part of our history. There's people from the Civil War that are in there, the Revolutionary War, and we just think when we put out American flags for Memorial Day and Veterans Day, I think there's 143 to 150 flags that are of people who have served in the military that are in our cemetery.
I was looking through your website, Paul, and I noticed an item that struck my curiosity, and it's called the Highway 20 Corridor Study. Obviously, there's a lot of activity along that road. Tell us about that study and how it's being manifested right now. I notice a lot of there is land for sale. I see some for sale signs.
Yeah.
What is all that? Tell us about that, please.
That is our way of saying, here's how we want this corridor to develop. That we want to make it very at various nodes. We don't want to see continuous commercial from downtown to the river, which is our western boundary, which is the Chattahoochee River. And so we prepared that plan and as an overlay for zoning purposes to protect the view shed going forward, is to make sure you still felt like you were in the country, even though you're in a suburban urban setting. We just didn't want to have a Jimmy Carter Boulevard, just constant development, or Buford Highway, constant development. We just wanted to be able to maintain some green space in between, or housing development in between. And in fact, we have been very intentional and have purchased property along the corridor for public parks. We have a 22-acre park, which is halfway between the river and downtown. The river's 3 miles from here, from City Hall. And then we've also purchased 70 acres along with the Trust for Public Land on the Chattahoochee River as part of the Riverlands initiative that is being done by ARC and the Trust for Public Land in Cobb County and others. And we'll be the trailhead for that Riverlands, take you all the way from the Buford Dam all the way down to Noonan eventually in the master plan. And so we're a huge owner of property right on the river, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to develop it. We want to have it available for the community 5 years from now or 100 years from now. And we'll have some commercial nodes that would feed the intent of what that green space and that land looks like, and the type of uses that would go there, such as bike trails, walking trails, and the like, or an event center, or a small boutique hotel that relates to the river for fishing and rafting and those types of things. So the corridor study was very intentional to make sure that the community, and make sure that developers know what our intent is in terms of maintaining. We'll entertain development at various nodes, and DOT has those nodes, which one would be signalized, which ones would be median cuts. Those would be where development could occur, but we don't want to see a continuous sea of strip malls from the river to downtown.
On your website, you mentioned that you do offer quite a few resources for small businesses. Could you talk a little bit about how you can help with that?
Yeah, we have our old city hall downtown that has been repurposed into a business incubator and a co-working space. And then we program that to help people who are maybe bringing their business ideas out of their basement, and they like to have an address with a post office box, and they can have a space reserved in our incubator for their business growth. And then we also bring in resources to help them, whether it's SCORE or the University of Georgia or other types of groups that can help with a business plan, or consult them on how you finance that business plan. And so also our recruitment efforts for the retail for downtown, or the commercial space for downtown. We are the largest property owner. We own 12,000 square feet in a development that is just finished, which is by Twilliger Pappas. It's called the Soul of Sugar Hill. We own 250 parking spaces in that facility. You can't tell the parking deck is there because it's completely wrapped. But all the retail that overlooks our bowl is owned and operated by our Downtown Development Authority. And so when we recruit and we're trying to find tenants for those, we want ones that are that have a local flavor to them, and we try to keep our rents competitive, but we can keep them steadier than the private sector can, I think, because we're not profit oriented. We are community oriented.
A restaurant, how's it going with the restaurant industry there, Paul? I mean, that's a big attraction to people that are going to walk from home to the bowl, etc.
We have three free restaurants in our East Center, and then we have a rooftop bar that you can order food and have it delivered up the rooftop is on the third floor of our East Center. And then we have our Real Tacos is located right across the street from our East Center, right beside our history and art gallery facility. And we do have some chains that have committed that are under construction in our project with Solus. We have Starbucks that has going to have a corner facility on Highway 20 in Temple, which is the street that is the border to our outdoor concert venue, the Bowl. It will have no drive-through, but it'll have a mezzanine inside. It's going to be a third place, if you've heard that term, where people can go there and do their business on Wi-Fi, and have their coffee, latte, whatever they want. And it'll have beautiful views of the Bowl and beautiful views of Highway 20 as well. And then we also have Playa Bowls, which is a health option under contract, under lease. And we have Kilwins under lease. And we are also in negotiations with an Italian concept that is not a chain. It's they have a couple restaurants in the metro Atlanta area. And so we're excited about programming that. And we're very, very careful and very, very meticulous. And we sometimes move slower because we want to get the right tenants and the right tenant mix.
What we're kind of winding up our 30 minutes, and I'm grateful for your time, Paul. But I want just to ask you one little question here about the land that is available for sale. What kind of information could you provide realtors like myself and other interested buyers in terms of what would be the preferred zoning for that land?
If it's in our central business district, there is no underlying zoning. If it's in our central business district overlay, we think we've reached our capacity on multifamily downtown. We don't. We think we did a study back in 2014, said how many new units we needed to have per year. We've outpaced that, but I think we're at the point now where the infill development needs to be single family detached, but it could be very small lots. We're even interested in the tiny home concept. And matter of fact, we've purchased some property to build those ourselves in downtown, just to make for affordable housing. And so we're working with Gwinnett County and others on that concept. We have private developers that are looking at land, as you suggested, that's available, that and walkable to our downtown. And our message to them has been, you're not going to get zoning for an apartment complex. However, if you bring a single family detached product to the table, it doesn't have to be 3,000-4,000 square feet. I mean, they can be 1,200, 900 square feet, 1,200, 2,000 square feet. Cottages or craftsman style homes. And we have parks galore that we have on the map in our planning for construction in our downtown. And that just adds value of people being able to have a house that's within walking distance of our downtown. They would never have to get in their car to get here.
Well, that's very exciting, Paul, and I appreciate your service. And again, congratulations on being inducted just last month into the Municipal Association Hall of Fame, and well-deserved honor after 50 years of community service, and particularly with their expertise in development and redevelopment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching, and if you would like to check out my website, this program will be on my website. It's atlantacommunityprofiles.com, and if you would like, I can be happy to send you a copy of this show that you can send out to your clients who are looking to purchase real estate. Just send me an email, lou@louwieland.com. And thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.